If I'd known what was waiting under that villa, I would have burned the job offer instead of saying yes. But back then, I was broke and desperate, and desperation makes anything sound reasonable. The ad said only, "Caretaker wanted, immediate start, excellent pay." No interview, no forms. I sent my name and got a reply less than a minute later. Position accepted. Arrival tomorrow, 4 p.m. Transportation reimbursed. No one asked for a resume. They didn't even ask if I was human. The next day, a black sedan picked me up from the bus stop in the middle of the Appalachian woods. The driver never spoke, never looked at me. We drove through an endless tunnel of trees until the road turned to gravel. When the forest finally opened, I saw iron gates taller than a house. "End of the line," the driver muttered. I pressed the intercom. No voice answered, just a mechanical click. The gates slid open without a sound. Inside was a long stone driveway leading to a massive villa. Not a rustic lodge, but a European-looking estate dropped in the middle of nowhere. Pale walls, black roof, 2 wings spreading like arms. The right side caught the afternoon light. The left was swallowed by shade. The front door unlocked the moment I touched it. "Hello?" My voice disappeared into echo. No answer. In the entrance hall sat a small table, a metal box, and a single sheet of thick white paper with my name on it. The handwriting was perfect, every letter drawn with care. Rules of the house 1. Do not enter or approach the basement door in the left wing. 2. 4 times a day food will be delivered. 1 meal for you, 1 sealed package for the basement worker. Place the sealed package in the food lift at the end of the left wing corridor. Do not open it. Do not attempt communication with the basement worker. 3. After 2200 hours, press the security button in the right wing hallway and remain inside that wing until morning. Do not leave the villa after midnight. 4. Do not use mobile communication while on duty. Place your phone in the metal box. 5. Follow the rules and you'll be safe. I actually laughed. It sounded like a joke. Don't feed the basement monster. But the paper was new, the ink still shiny. Someone had written it for me. The box waited. My phone showed no service, yet it was my only link to the world. I hesitated, then dropped it in. The lid clicked shut like a coffin latch. The right wing was spotless, tall ceilings, expensive furniture, lifeless perfection. The left wing, though, darker, colder. I told myself I'd just take a quick look. The corridor smelled faintly of metal and damp stone. At the far end stood a heavy steel door with a small square hatch near the floor, and beside it, a brass food lift. 4 long scratches ran across the tiles in front of the door, as if something heavy had scraped against them trying to get out. I backed away, heart beating faster than my steps. At dusk, a dull thud hit the porch. 2 insulated bags sat neatly on the stone. No vehicle, no tracks. One was labeled JASON, the other SUB. My dinner looked gourmet. The second bag was heavier. Whatever was inside shifted wetly. I carried it down the left corridor, opened the lift, slid the package inside, and shut the door. The mechanism hummed, lowering it into silence. No sound came back. By 10 p.m., I found the security panel, 1 red button under a plastic cover. When the clock struck 2200, I pressed it. Deep inside the walls, metal groaned and settled. The display lit up, right wing secured. A strange relief washed over me. The rules were weird but clear. I could live with weird. I must have fallen asleep sometime after midnight, until a noise pulled me back. 3 knocks. Slow, heavy, deliberate. Not at my door, beneath me. I froze, listening. Old houses creak, pipes shift, wood expands. It's normal, I told myself. I almost believed it, until the sound came again. Lower this time, a guttural rumble like something breathing through metal somewhere below the floor. Then a faint scrape, sharp and quick, as if claws dragged across steel. Silence returned, sudden and absolute. I lay awake until dawn, staring at the ceiling, convincing myself that maybe the house had guard dogs, released to patrol the property at night. Yeah, that had to be it. Still, when the first light touched the curtains, my hand was still on the lamp switch, just in case. I woke up with my hand still on the lamp switch. For a second, I hoped last night's sounds were just a dream. The knocks, the strange breathing under the floor. But the cold air and silence said otherwise. At 8 sharp came the same dull thud on the porch. 2 bags, Jason and Sub. No footsteps, no car, just wind and forest. The sub bag left a dark smear on the stone, thick, sticky, not grease. I didn't open it. I just carried it down the cold left corridor. The air there always felt wrong, heavier. I slid the package into the brass lift and listened. The hum started, then faint scraping, like something dragging the tray out with shaky hands. A metallic breath followed. Pipes, I whispered. Just pipes. I skipped breakfast. By noon, the silence was unbearable. I explored the upper floor, every room perfect, lifeless. No photos, no clothes, nothing human. In a drawer, I found papers signed by Dr. Abram Whitaker, a zoologist whose experiments had once made headlines before his project was shut down. The handwriting matched the rules sheet. Cold, exact, the same precision. So this was his villa. And the basement worker? The house groaned above me, like it didn't like the thought. At 4, another delivery. I caught myself waiting for it, nervous, expecting. The sub bag was icy and heavier. Down the left hall, lights flickered. The brass door of the food lift now had a dent, sharp-edged, from the inside. The rules didn't forbid listening. I bent closer. Silence. Then, faint movement. A wet, deep exhale, heavy and uneven. I stumbled back, dropped the bag, shoved it into the lift, slammed the door. The mechanism hummed, then jammed halfway. Metal scraped against metal as if something below had grabbed it. Then the motor resumed, lowering whatever it was. When it stopped, I stood there for a long time, heart pounding, listening for another sound. Nothing. That night, pressing the 10 p.m. security button didn't feel safe anymore. The locks groaned shut like I was sealing myself in. After midnight, thuds again. Slow, heavy, pacing under the floor. Then a sharp clang from the lift shaft, echoing through the walls. I told myself it was dogs, security dogs, or machinery, anything. But then came that same guttural, wet breathing, vibrating through the floorboards. When it finally stopped, I noticed a dark streak near the vent. Fresh, like something had been dragged past it. I didn't sleep. And by morning, one rule was already broken. I had started to listen. By the 4th night, I'd stopped pretending the sounds didn't bother me. The villa felt different, heavier, as if the walls were holding their breath. At 8, the food delivery came as usual. 2 bags, Jason and Sub. But this time the second bag was warm, wet on the bottom. I hesitated, then carried it down the left hallway. The light bulbs buzzed faintly overhead, flickering as I passed. When I opened the food lift, the metal tray inside was already halfway up, waiting like someone below had sent it first. I froze. No rule covered that. For a moment I thought I saw something move behind the vent near the floor. A shadow, heavy and slow. I slid the package in, slammed the hatch, and walked away faster than I wanted to admit. That evening, I couldn't eat. The air smelled faintly of copper. I kept glancing toward the left wing, waiting for another sound. Nothing came, and that silence was worse. At 9:55 p.m., I stood before the red security button. The house felt like it was watching, waiting for me to press it. But my curiosity had already rotted into something else. I needed to know. The knocks, the breathing, the strange deliveries. I wanted to see what lived down there. Maybe it was just a man. Maybe that's all it was. When the clock hit 10, I didn't press the button. The lights in the hallway flickered once, then twice, then went still. By 11:30, the villa had changed. The usual distant hum of generators was gone. The walls seemed to expand and contract with each of my breaths. I walked toward the left wing, flashlight in hand. The air there felt thick, metallic. My steps echoed longer than they should have. The steel door to the basement stood at the end of the corridor, colder than the rest of the house. The small food lift hatch beside it was ajar. I leaned closer and saw scratches around the edges. Fresh ones. Something inside the wall shifted. Hello? My voice barely left my throat. The answer came as a deep rasp, followed by a scrape that climbed upward, as if something massive was using the lift shaft to rise. I stumbled back. The flashlight flickered, then steadied on a metal tag half buried in dust near the door. It read, "Property of Dr. Abram Whittaker, Zoological Institute Research Division." A low sound rolled through the corridor, not a growl, not quite human breathing, something between. That's when it hit me. There was no basement worker. There never had been. The rules weren't to protect me from him. They were to protect the world from it. I ran. Halfway down the hall, the emergency lights snapped red. Behind me, metal shrieked, the basement door giving way. A roar, thick and broken, tore through the house. I reached the control panel and slammed the security button. Nothing happened. The system was already disabled, because I hadn't locked in at 10. Heavy footsteps shook the floor. The air filled with the stench of iron and decay. I caught a glimpse in the glass cabinet reflection. Huge, hunched, fur patchy across to what looked like human shoulders, eyes shining dull amber. For a second, it hesitated, like something inside it remembered me. Then it moved. I didn't make it to the door. 5 days later, a yellow taxi stopped at the gates. A young man stepped out, suitcase in hand, glancing at the towering villa beyond the trees. He pressed the intercom. No answer. Just a mechanical click. The gates slid open without a sound. If this story unsettled you, leave a like and let the shadows know. Subscribe for more tales you shouldn't hear after dark. And if you've seen something you can't explain, tell us in the comments. We're always listening.